Okay, so we are diving into Tesla and Elon Musk. You gave us quite the reading list. Business journals, biographies, you name it. It seems like you're obviously as fascinated by this whole thing as we are.
Yeah, it's a fascinating case study, I think.
It really is.
It's not just electric cars and space rockets. It's like a whole new way of thinking about business and technology and all that.
Yeah. How do they do it?
Yeah.
What is going on there? So to really unpack this, we'll dig into what makes Tesla's strategy, well, so unique, the leadership style that fuels it, and then ultimately like the ripples it's creating in the world. And trust me, there are some surprising details in here that even if you think, Tesla and Elon Musk, you might find intriguing.
Well, and what I find particularly interesting is the audacity of it all, especially in the early days. This wasn't just about building a better electric car. This was about completely upending an entire industry.
Right. And the Elon Musk biography that we have uses this phrase, burn the boats, to describe their approach. So instead of playing it safe, they kind of set fire to the old way of doing things and charged full speed ahead. Remember that story about the Falcon Heavy and Starship?
Oh, yeah. That's
Yeah.
a perfect example of their risk-taking SpaceX,
Hmm.
which is, the other company Musk started. They were already pretty far down the line in developing the Falcon Heavy rocket,
Yeah.
which was a huge undertaking in itself.
Yeah.
But Musk being Musk, he gets this idea for Starship, which is a spacecraft that's like, it's on another level of ambition.
Totally.
And so instead of like making incremental progress, he basically tells the team to scrap years of work and go all in on Starship.
Wow.
Even with they had existing military contracts that relied on the Falcon Heavy.
Can you imagine being in the room when how do you even say that to a room full of brilliant engineers? Like, sorry, all that work you just did for the last however many years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna put that on the back burner. It's like they took the whole move fast and break things ethos to a whole other level.
Right.
But in this case, they were talking about breaking like billion-dollar rockets.
Right.
And, what's interesting is Gwynne Shotwell, who's the president of SpaceX, she comes into the story here and kind of plays the crucial role of balancing Musk's, his impulsiveness, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
She's the one who reminds him like, hey, we have these contracts. These big spy satellites aren't going to launch themselves.
Yeah.
We need the Falcon Heavy for that.
Right. So
Right.
she's the voice of reason in all this.
She seems to be a very important counterbalance to his he has this relentless drive.
Yeah.
But she's the one who kind of has to be like, okay, let's maybe think about this.
That's an interesting dynamic. I mean, that's going to be where a lot of the magic happens, right? This tension between like crazy ambition and then, someone would be like, okay, but what about this?
Yeah, I think that's a big part of how they operate. And, it was this risk-taking, this burn-the-boats mentality that allowed them to disrupt the auto industry. Because remember when Tesla showed up, electric cars were seen as kind of like...
Oh, they were like glorified golf carts.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody wanted one.
But Tesla, they flipped the script.
Yeah, they did.
They focused on performance and design and this idea of exclusivity,
Yeah.
even when they were struggling to actually make the cars.
They were struggling to even ramp up production on that early Roadster model.
And that's another key thing here. They had this unwavering belief in the product, even when they were having all these setbacks.
But they were burning through cash and like a lot of it. And then Musk decides to double down on hiring even more people.
Yeah, imagine being the CFO at that time. Martin Eberhard tried to talk to him about their, rapidly dwindling funds after this big hiring spree. And Musk...
I don't think he took it very well.
He did not.
Oh.
Let's just say Musk's response to Eberhard was not what you would call subtle.
It doesn't sound like it.
It seems like a theme here. Musk pushes everyone around him to the absolute limit, demands what seems impossible. And he doesn't always do it in the nicest way.
No kidding. But it worked. I mean, you can't argue with the results. They didn't just survive those early challenges. They went on to build the Gigafactory.
The Gigafactory itself is just this monument to their audacity.
It's huge.
It wasn't just about building a bigger factory. It was about, them taking control of their own destiny, controlling the entire supply chain.
That's vertical integration, right?
Exactly. Instead of relying on other companies for batteries, they just decided to build the biggest battery factory on the planet.
Which was a gamble.
Oh, a huge gamble. But it paid off. It gave them this huge competitive advantage and, really solidified their position as the leader in the EV market.
And it's not just the technology or the business strategy. I mean, it all comes back to Elon Musk himself, and he is a complex figure, to say the least.
Yeah, it's a brilliant mind in there, obviously. But there's also this unpredictability that makes him, both fascinating and sometimes, the source of a lot of controversy.
Right, and one area where that controversy really comes into focus is his views on transgender issues. The sources mention this whole thing with his daughter Jenna, who transitioned.
Yeah, that's a really sensitive topic and one that, we have to approach carefully.
Yeah.
But Musk's reaction to his daughter transitioning was, well, it was very public and it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way.
Yeah, he made comments about pronouns and he tweeted this cartoon that a lot of people saw as being really disrespectful to the trans community.
Yeah, and this wasn't just like a one-time thing. He's become increasingly vocal in his opposition to what he calls wokeness, especially when it comes to transgender rights.
Which seems to contradict some of his earlier statements where he was a lot more supportive of trans people.
It does, and I think it's left a lot of people feeling confused and honestly let down by someone they used to admire.
I can see that.
And then there's the whole thing with him buying Twitter,
Oh, yeah.
which kind of just like threw gasoline on the fire of all these controversies.
Yeah.
Well, his whole thing was that he wanted to make Twitter a bastion of free speech.
Right.
But a lot of people saw his actions as creating a more hostile environment, especially for marginalized groups.
It's almost like he can't help himself.
It's like he needs that chaos, that
Yeah.
shaking things up, even if it's not always clear what he's trying to build in the process.
And I mean, that's a question a lot of people are wrestling with, right? Like, can someone with such a disruptive personality actually be a force for good?
And it's a question that goes beyond Musk himself. It applies to Tesla and SpaceX, and really the future of technology itself.
So it's about more than just electric cars and rockets.
Oh yeah, much more. And it leads us to this broader discussion about the impact of all of this on society as a whole.
Okay, well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about Tesla and Musk's vision on society. What kind of impact have they had?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Okay, so beyond just the company and the man himself, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about Tesla's impact. They've really shaken things up, haven't they?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, for all the controversy, there's just no denying they've had this huge impact on the whole electric vehicle market. I mean,
They basically made electric cars cool.
exactly.
Yeah.
They used to be this niche thing,
Mhm.
like almost an afterthought. And now
Now everybody wants one.
it's like they're the status symbol.
Totally. And they forced all the other automakers to step up their game.
Oh, yeah. They had no choice. They had to scramble to catch up, start investing serious money in electric vehicles.
It's like the sense of excitement around a technology that honestly used to be kind of boring.
Yeah.
And then there's SpaceX, which
On
is,
a whole other level.
I mean, colonizing Mars. That's straight out of science fiction.
It seems impossible, but they're doing it. Reusable rockets, satellite launches.
Yeah.
I mean, they're even working with NASA.
You know, it's interesting to compare what Musk is doing with SpaceX with what, Jeff Bezos is doing with Blue Origin.
Right. They have totally different approaches.
What do you mean?
I mean, Bezos seems to be more focused on space tourism, like building the infrastructure for people to actually get to space.
Like a space hotel or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like making it more accessible. But Musk,
He's all about Mars.
Mars is the goal. Like,
Yeah.
even if it means taking these huge risks.
It's that whole burn the boats mentality again.
Exactly. And it's what makes him so interesting to follow.
Yeah.
But it also makes you wonder about the consequences. What happens when you combine that level of ambition and drive with a disregard for convention?
And maybe a little bit of impulsivity.
Maybe more than a little bit. And that's what we're seeing play out right with Tesla, with SpaceX, with Twitter, even with his personal life.
It's like he's a case study in the power and the potential danger of disruption.
Yeah, and it's funny. In the middle of all this,
Mhm.
all these grand visions of colonizing Mars and merging with AI, we found this little detail in the sources about Musk's approach that I just found fascinating.
Oh, really? What's that?
He's obsessed with the tiniest details. Like,
Go!
weirdly obsessed. Oh, you're talking about the story about the Model 3 production line?
Yes. The trunk lid gap.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. That's
Yeah.
a classic Elon.
So picture this. He's walking down the production line, right? And he's laser focused on this tiny gap between the trunk lid and the car body.
Okay.
And he's convinced it's too wide, like it has to be smaller, even when the engineers are telling him hey, if we make it any smaller, it's going to mess with the structural integrity of the car.
So what did he do?
I mean, knowing Elon, he probably took that as a
He
challenge.
probably did.
But it shows you how much he cares about every single detail. Even if it means butting heads with his own team.
And they figured it out right.
They did. They actually found a way to reduce the gap without compromising the car's structure.
Which, again, that's kind of a perfect metaphor for his whole approach, this
Yeah.
unwavering belief that anything is possible.
But that drive, that intensity, he calls it crisis mode. And he's been operating like that for over a decade.
Well, can you even imagine? How is that sustainable?
And even as he's talking about stepping back from that crisis mode, what does he do? He secretly buys a ton of Twitter stock and jumps headfirst into
Mhm.
another huge battle.
It's like he can't help himself.
It really is. He's drawn to these monumental challenges.
The bigger, the better.
And it makes you wonder, can Tesla and SpaceX even survive without him constantly pushing them? Will they become, I don't know, more normal?
I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
But one thing's for sure, Elon Musk and Tesla, they've changed how we think about innovation and technology.
They've shown us that sometimes the craziest ideas are the ones worth pursuing.
And it's not just about the technology itself.
Mhm.
It's also about pushing the boundaries of what we believe is possible.
It's about challenging the status quo.
Exactly. And I think that's something that often gets lost in all the noise surrounding Musk.
It's easy to get caught up in the controversies for sure, but when you step back and look at what he's actually accomplished, it's hard not to be impressed.
It really is.
Yeah.
And I think one of the most important lessons we can take away from all of this is that sometimes the craziest ideas, the ones that everyone else dismisses as impossible, those are the ones that are worth pursuing.
It's like that old saying, right? The greatest risk is not taking one.
Exactly. Because even if you fail, and Musk has certainly had his share of failures, you learn something along the way.
And you push the boundaries of what's possible.
You push yourself, you push the people around you, and you might just end up changing the world.
And I think that's a powerful message, whether you agree with everything Elon Musk does or not.
Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, it's about having a vision and having the courage to pursue it.
And I think that's something we can all aspire to.
Absolutely.
Well, on that note,
Mm.
I think we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have. We've explored Tesla's unconventional strategy, Musk's complex leadership style, and the far-reaching impact of their work.
And we've only just scratched the surface.
There's so much more to unpack here. It's
Yeah.
a story that's still being written.
It is. And I have a feeling it's going to be a wild ride. So if you're as intrigued by all of this as we are, we encourage you to check out those sources you shared, especially that Elon Musk biography.
It's a real page-turner.
It really is. And until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and as always, keep diving deep.